Making first impressions with people. First impressions are particularly important because as a human species we tend to make judgments on people, and once we've made these judgments we tend to find evidence that supports this view of this person rather than argues the opposite, we should say. So we use things like stereotypes, heuristics and these snap judgments to kind of get an idea of what this person is about. And the reason we do this is quite simple. We don't usually have the time and opportunity to gather all kinds of information about a person. So we can't run police checks on them, for instance. We're going to talk about two things here with first impressions. So clothing, for instance. Now, clothing is very important because it's the first visual representation of you that another person sees. Clothing is also important because it sort of evokes emotions in people. So for instance, when you go to the gym, you wear sporty equipment. Now you could wear jeans and such, but you wouldn't get that kind of feeling and it's not as practical. Similarly, if you're lounging around at your home about to go to bed, you're not going to put a suit and tie on because it just won't feel right. So the clothes we wear, it projects impression onto others, which they pick up on, but it also evokes emotions and feelings within us. So second point is to do with the hands and the handshake. So this is the first physical touch you usually get with most people. Handshakes tend to be seen as, by some, not as important as others do. So while you may not feel your handshake is particularly important, because it is one of the first pieces of information people get to judge you on, people will judge you on your handshake. So men tend to have really vice-like grips and women tend to be seen as having soft handshakes. My recommendation would be to have a good friend and just practice your regular handshake and ask them honestly, how do they judge you and feel about you as using this handshake? Practice, always important, practice. So obviously within a networking environment, listening is very important. Now, listening is important, but it's also very hard to do. You're asking people, you're having information come at you, you're trying to remember it, you're trying to think of maybe what you're going to say next or where that's relevant, and you're just listening and listening and listening. So listening is a skill. It's something that not many people are sort of naturally very good at, but anyway. So when it comes to listening, there's a little mnemonic we like to use, which is RASA. The R stands for receive the information, so you receive the information and you sort of contemplate it. A stands for appreciate the information, so you acknowledge it and you sort of go, yeah, so you show you're listening. S stands for summarize the information, so you give them a brief version back. Use the word so also, it's very important. And A stands for ask questions afterwards, so you receive the information, you acknowledge it, you then summarize it and you ask a question back. That shows that you're paying attention to the person, but it also gives you a chance to memorize it, because memory is all about rehearsal. So if you're going through this process, you're memorizing the material they're giving you. So in doing all these steps, you're rehearsing what the information's coming at you. So memory is based on rehearsal. So if you're rehearsing this information, you're basically memorizing it. So at the end, when you ask the question, you can prove that you've actually listened to what's been said rather than just go, which happens at networking events, unfortunately.